Hi guys, my name is Braxton Montier. I'm here with UFLTV and I'm here interviewing. Would you like to introduce yourself?
I'm Pam Pannier.
Wonderful. And Pam, you're a mediator, correct?
That's correct.
Wonderful. Well, I've prepared some questions for you. So let's get into them.
Okay.
Okay. How do you normally prepare for a mediation? Is there a special process or is there just a routine that you go through? What does your process look like?
Well, it just depends on if I'm working on my own versus going through one of the nonprofit agencies. I normally don't have a lot of background if I agree to do one of theirs, but in my own, I contact the people, uh, double check with them as to what there's no, what is there domestic violence been in there. What are they looking to resolve? Have they ever mediated before? All of those questions. And then day of, I make sure the equipment's working, my phone's off, and the dog's quiet.
Yeah, wonderful. Oh, so would you recommend becoming a mediator to other people as a career choice?
People come into this with some expectations of just jumping into it right fast, and they're going to make a lot of money, and they get disappointed when they do that. I mean, anybody can be a mediator. It takes time and steps to get through the court roster process. You need to, I mean, you can take the domestic or not the domestic, excuse me, that's called basic mediation training class, offered several places throughout the valley throughout the year, and not do anything else with it, maybe mediate your neighbors or whatever, but you wouldn't be able to do any kind of legal mediations. You would need to then you go through the 10 hours of observation and then 10 hours of co-mediation / mediation in order to be able to qualify to take the test for the BASIC. That would get you on the roster. Then test is open book. So, but that's the hard part at this point in time. Excuse me, because the courts, the small claims courts, where we used to be able to get people to get those hours, they've eliminated small claims court, and now it's pretty much if you've got an attorney willing to bring somebody in and have them watch or co-mediate, which is watching is probably not a problem. Co-mediating probably might be if they're charging a client. So that makes it a little harder. And then once you go there and you feel like you really do want to go into the domestic mediation world, you would take another class, a domestic mediation class, and then you would have to make sure that you're on the court roster beforehand. But then you would need to pay a mentor to work with you to meet the qualifications to be able to become a divorce mediator. That only divorce mediators can mediate divorces.
Yeah. Okay. Is there any kind of, I know you spoke you spoke about this. Is there any kind of supplemental learning courses, additional training beyond the time with your mentor and the classes that you have to take that a mediator can take? Is there like a CLE that a lawyer takes, but for a mediator? Is there anything
Well,
like that?
yeah, well, every year to stay on the court roster, you need to have 6 hours of CLEs. The Utah bar offers brown bags throughout the year, which are free. They're hour, and they give you credit. And then once a year, this Utah Council on Conflict Resolution offers a 6 hour seminar that you can go and get all 6 hours in one day. There's the AFCC. I'm not sure exactly what that stands for, but they meet every month, bi-monthly, and they have topics that attorneys and judges and mediators benefit all of them. And you can get your hours that way. You can go do that without worrying. If you want to just sit in and hear what said, you can go to this without having to have that background or that certification.
Yeah. So anybody could attend a CLE. Is that correct? Yeah.
Right.
Awesome. So if somebody's interested, they should look these up and go and sit in on one and just see what people are being taught and what they're learning.
Exactly. Yeah, that
Yeah.
would give you an idea of what the topics are, because they're all relevant to what's going on here now with mediators and the attorneys. And so you have a feeling, something that you're interested in, and people might pursue it.
Wonderful. Okay. So what makes a mediation good? Is it the mediator or is it the participants? I know you said that you also do some work for nonprofit. So is the goal a little bit different? Does that change what good means?
No, well, there's two kinds of mediation.
Yeah.
The practice, two mediator practice. A lot of the retired judges do the ones where they basically will tell you what you probably should be doing. The kind that I practice and through my nonprofit we do is it's mediation is a process of non self self-determination. Excuse me. Anything you may decide in the mediation is decided and crafted by both parties. The mediator's there to help the people look at look at all the options, reminding them there's always more than one or two, and sometimes the option that might be the best option is the one that they don't either consider an option or that is very low on their list. And so that any mediation that it works, it takes both parties to make it work.
That's good. Wonderful. Okay. What are some things that people don't consider when they start the process of mediation they should? What is the thing that when they walk in, they need to kind of be aware of because it'll make the process easier or it'll help them or whatever it is?
They need to have an open mind, to be able to talk about things and not necessarily have to agree with it, but at least listen to it and maybe think about variations of what it would be there. If children are involved, the mediation is not about how you can get back at your soon-to-be ex-spouse. The mediation is there to help both parents work towards making it the best for the children in a hard situation. And so, and a
Yeah.
lot of times people lose that focus. You have to remind them in it. And
Yeah.
so, and bringing all their paperwork, if there's bills and things like that, depending on if it's a paternity versus a family one. Paternity doesn't cover the assets, debts, etc., which divorce does, but maybe medical bills or something on for the children.
Yeah. Okay. That that's wonderful to know. What are the pitfalls that people should be aware of when they are walking into mediation for the first time?
Um, Thinking that if they can hold their ground, they'll win. It's not about winning. It's about,
Yeah.
everybody's giving up something in order to have it happen. Neither party probably will leave happy if it's if there's agreements to be made. But the just having that open mind is the most important things. Like I say before, when they forget about the children, they're there arguing, well, I'm not giving her the money, or I'm not going to give her that. He gets that because it's not there for that. It's there to help them separate everything and work out a situation that will work out for all involved.
Great. So I know you've spoke a little bit about this, but when does mediation become a recipe for disaster? People just digging in their heels and really just fighting each other about stuff. Is there a time that it just really falls off the rails and needs to be put back on? Or
Oh,
yeah,
well, yeah, always. There are lots of times where that takes on off course, and you have to bring them back on courses. They'll get a lot of times people get stuck on what's happened in the past. And that's not what in mediation you're wanting to talk about. Yeah, it happened. You can't change it, but you're there, you're looking at what you can do going forward to make the the relationship work for all involved, whether it be just dividing stuff and go their happy ways, or if there's family involved, children involved, you have to then do the steps the court requires in order to do that. So it can come up there. And to be honest with you, I love attorneys who believe in mediation and they may help their clients work with it. But there are attorneys out there to help you push it off the rails. They
Yeah.
aren't helpful, and sometimes I'll just want to go to court or whatever, and that twists the mediation too.
Okay. How often is it the lawyer that kind of ruins, not essentially ruins, but m pulls the mediation off the rails because either they believe there's some hotshot who can win in court, or they just believe, oh, I can just get a better deal outside of mediation.
There's not a lot of those out there, and they seem the same ones over and over again that you see, and some of them are really great. Um,
Yeah.
it I do in my opening statement, I do acknowledge if there's attorneys in there, I do acknowledge them that people look to their attorneys for advice. That can come back to bite me sometimes because the attorney says, just don't do it, go to court, and you're going like, but they're really close, and
Yeah.
so, they're, no, they're going to court. So, it can be a difficult situation, but not doesn't happen a lot.
Well, that's good to know. What is something you wish you could tell people before they come to mediation? I know they need to keep an open mind, but what is a piece of advice or just something that you would tell them before
I would
mediation?
tell them that it's not mediation and court is not like what you see on TV, movies. They have sometimes people come in with those expectations, and I want to tell them it doesn't work that way. Um, you come in and it can be hard work, but come in with just a willingness to see what you can talk about what you want to come up with. Whether you actually agree on it or not, that's up to both parties. That I don't. I mean, I consider the mediation a success if I've got people being able to talk for more than 5 minutes, and whether they've agreed to anything or not, and that they can go on, and hopefully I have given them tools to use, even if they haven't come to an agreement, that they can maybe use and think about after they've left the mediation, and think about and maybe use those, and they still can come up with some kind of agreement or together before the court date, because the court dates are usually out there months and months away.
Wonderful. Um, as a mediator, you're a neutral third party. Has there ever been a time where you believe that one person should kind of win over the other, or if one person is clearly in the right and the other person's in the wrong, some sort of personal bias on one side or the other?
Well, of course, I'm human.
Yeah.
Yeah, in there, but my process is I have to remind myself if I start feeling that way, okay, this isn't my life. We're not talking about my life. Yeah, that guy may or woman may be a total jerk, but let's see what we can do to get that person out of that mode, be able to do do something that works for all. I mean, it doesn't always work, but I don't try to consciously put my bias in.
Yeah. Wonderful. Wonderful, wonderful. Um, and in your opinion, what does an ideal mediation look like? Is it fair? Is it equitable? How does it all shake out? What is the ideal scenario?
Ideal scenario, well, I want to remind you my viewpoint. There's no such thing as equal and fair. And what does it look like? Everybody's definition is different. And so can't use that as a basis. A, a great mediation for me is that all parties have shown up on time. That everything, we may have some glitches with electronics, whatever, but we've got it up and going. There hasn't been any unexpected, that always slows things down. If there's an unexpected support person that somebody forgot to tell me that was coming, or if that support person wants to be a part of the process and kind of disrupts it, they can be as bad as an attorney sometimes. But if you've got them quiet in the background and everything's going and people are there they're trying. I mean, they're listening to each other's proposals, or then it's a successful mediation, whether they come to any, some, or all mediations.
Well, wonderful. That was all of my questions. Do you want to let everybody know where you do your mediations and your business?
I do private mediations. I do them on Zoom. You can find my contact information under Pamela Pannier, Pannier, through the utcourts.gov website for mediators. Also, too, I do mediations through Utah Dispute Resolution. It's a nonprofit. It has a sliding scale, and if you fit within their parameters, then you would pay whatever the fee is for that. Each party pays their half. And so, my contact information, call me and have questions. It may or may not like me after you talk to me. That's fine. I'm not, I don't feel bad or anything. I understand. Because it should be a good fit mediator with the
Yeah.
people.